no arrangement with Malema in terms of the GNU, and there's no discussion between us and the EFF. Neither are we entertaining their situation as a political party. So it's them and only them who understand themselves better. So we are not there. They can speak for themselves about what they want and what they don't want. We last had a discussion with Malema when we were exploring and when we were discussing, when Floyd was still there, about GNU and so on. So we don't have any discussions with the EFF about this country and its future at the present moment. So that's it. Um, uh, Zuma and appeal. Zuma have appealed. The matter is in the NDCA, and we leave it there. So once the NDCA finalizes its processes and Zuma's appeal, they will inform us accordingly in terms of the argument, whether or not he wins or not. And so in our books, I repeat, Zuma is expelled. He's not a member of the ANC. He has appealed that decision. So in our books, he's not our member. He's expelled. SABC, whether DA can go, it is informed by this Savelo, that Samkele, that we did not negotiate with everybody with a cap in their hand. We negotiated honestly and openly, and we informed South Africans. Helen Zille is peddling a false narrative, for instance, that the President Ramaphosa is indebted to the DA for protecting him from the EFF and MK party. Here is the truth. When we negotiated with all political parties, in the DA in particular, which we explained to you, the DA said to us there are red lines, one of which is that EFF and MK party is a no-go area. That's what the Helen Zille said to us, not us saying it to her. Helen Zille said to us there are red lines. What are the red lines? EFF and MK party. We said if that is your condition, we don't subscribe to that. We'll engage with the MK party and the EFF, including yourselves. EFF, on the other hand, said that the DA is a red line, but we can work with them against you. That's Floyd. He said so. It's a red line, but we can work with them against you. So it was a scarecrow. They forgot that we've got 40%, and that 40% doesn't allow us to be intimidated with things like writing exams and all of that, like it happened in the past. So we said, go away with your scarecrow. Let's sit down and talk. We went to Zille and his delegation and said that to us cannot be a redliner. We will talk to MK, we'll talk to to everybody, and we don't owe it to you. We'll engage, and that is what is important. Now, Helen Zille says that if business had their own fears post the elections about the possible ANC EFF MK party alliance, is their fears. It's got nothing to do with the ANC. The ANC chose the path of a government of national unity. That's got nothing to do with the ANC. And peddling those lies and trafficking them fast and furious, like Zille is doing, it becomes a fact in the mindset of the people. Like others have been peddling lies that we had a deal with the DA, where there is a deal, this thing is a pact, and all of that. There is no such. There is no such. We engaged, informed by our own perspective. That said to us that we are in this situation where we did not win overwhelming majority. What are the options before us? And we chose the government of national unity. Do we love the government of national unity or any other model that we came across in terms of our own discussion? We don't. Now, for anyone to say, including our friends in the left, represented by Mapaila, that we love GNU, we protect GNU, we defend GNU. It is very much worrisome coming from a person of my Mbalula's caliber, because he should understand what is a strategic goal and tactical maneuver. He must argue in that tactical maneuver, as he would have argued, that he doesn't think that DA must constitute that. It's another debate. But to argue that a tactical maneuver is equal to a strategic goal, it's very disturbing. It's actually ideological bankruptcy, to say the least. So these distortions have gone on and on. And in this particular instance, if they are sustained forever and ever, they become a reality on the part of society in general and broadly the young and upcoming cadreship of our party and membership, that the ANC has got a deal that it hatched over the years with the DA. And this question of GNU is not an accident. It is something that has been hashed over time, which again it must be rebutted, because it's a matter that was argued thoroughly, informed by our own perspectives, and we came to this particular conclusion. Now, to equate GNU to the same level as thinking that GNU is the beginning and the end, we love it with passion, and then that is it. No, it's incorrect. We have said GNU can stand, and we believe that others whom are fellow travelers in this GNU, they will decide at some point to get away of it, as it would have happened even in the transitional period in our country. At some point, the National Party did not go with us all the way. If the DA Samkelo decide tonight or tomorrow they want to leave, we can't stop them, because they came here maybe with high expectations that they will run over the ANC, and then we will forsake our large numbers and basically succumb to everything. It's not possible. It's not possible. And that is why we have developed a clearinghouse for engagement. And that is why we are engaging with political parties where we differ with them on issues. So the question of where it comes from about tonight or tomorrow, it comes from that context, that if the ANC doesn't want to stay in the GNU and all of that, it is up to the ANC to make that decision. It's up to the DA to make that particular decision. It is not the ANC. And then I think, again, the question of Helen Zille, she has been at pains trying to project the GNU as an arrangement of expediency between the ANC and the DA. She must advocate for what the DA wanted to achieve. The DA wanted an arrangement between the ANC and them. And then the ANC said, no, let's work with everybody. And that is the issue. That's where we are. So, wanting to prove that otherwise, it is something that we believe is not matured for our democracy, is basically taking us back. We are moving forward now. If the DA, through Helen Zille, decide that they want to opt out of the GNU, it will be their decision. But the GNU will continue to govern this country and work with everybody. And there is stability in the country. There is excellent work that we can see, building on the sixth administration going forward. And that is it. And DA ministers in the GNU have been running their own campaign. We are not worried about that. We are not worried about that. We don't spend sleepless nights. If a minister given a portfolio is doing a marvelous job, South Africans, that's what they want. If ANC ministers are seen in the GNU not delivering, it means the ANC must deal with that as a party. We don't spend sleepless nights chasing ministers in the GNU and about this and that, claiming things and so on and so on. We are interested in a government that works for the people. And we know in that government we are a majority. And we've got no excuse not to deliver for South Africans. with our majority. We must deliver for South Africans. And that is why we must not be perturbed by a DA minister who says, I've done this and that. And you look at it, you realize that, but this thing, we have done it long time ago. But they say today they are doing it. We will not call a press conference and say, no, Macpherson is lying. He has not done this thing. No, history will judge him. What we want is a government that works for the people, and that's what we support as the ANC. We didn't have any secret arrangement with the DA. We had talks about talks, and we engaged. And that's what is important. So opportunists and many others, people and all of that who want to distort things, they want to reduce this thing, because it's opportunism, that there was a secret arrangement between the NC and the D. We had talks with Helen Zille, and is one of the first political parties, EFF and everybody, we started to talk to earlier on. It was important to talk to her and the DA because they came second in relation to the election. And the EFF and Jacob Zuma party and all of that, they then followed. We then gave them a GNU arrangement. Others came in, others decided not to come in. And that's it. And then we moved on. We are not standing here with a cap in our hand even today. And that is what maybe may define the passion. We don't have a cap in the hand, snenga umuntu, no. Asnenge. Maybe you define it about, we're not. We are principled. We are principled in relation. We went with this arrangement with our eyes opened, but we are not going to we are not going to have people who come at us, eating us piece by piece with lies. You know, we are slepula mus, uti, uramaphosa, yak, and then you leave us like that, and then it becomes a topic that this was a product of capital. Let me tell you, we engaged capital over and above Helen Zille, we as the ANC, and there was no concession. And we told them what we think of them. Because the product that we ended up with in terms of the post-election, that's what they worked for. They sponsored political parties in this country. They supported them against the ANC to reduce our majority. That's what they wanted. It's an open secret. We campaigned very hard to win with outright majority. Our own subjective weaknesses affected us. We were not defeated by capital. We were defeated by our own. And you know what I'm talking about. And that is what has actually happened here. So capital with their sponsored projects, those projects fall apart. Moonshot did not work. Did it work? Moonshot, it didn't. It was there, moonshot. What worked was Zuma in this election. Moonshot fall apart with all the support it had from capital, sponsored. It fall apart. And then matured political parties came around the table, embraced the idea, we work for it. For instance, the DA said to us, let's call this a multi-party government. We said, what is the difference between multi-party and GNU? Let's not spend time on useless concepts. It's one and the same thing. And then they said that we want a marriage between us and you. We said no. And then they said, no, why do you sign with other political parties? We said it's our call. We signed with the DA. And then Helen Zille started first to dispute everything in the intent, what inclusivity means and all of that. And then when the parties were growing up to 10, he said, no, that is not what we envisaged. Then we went ahead. And then back and forth, you remember the letters which were leaked. And then we told them through our president, take it or leave it. You can go. I'm not saying something that was never said. If she forget, that letter is there. We respect political parties who serve in the GNU, their independence, including their opposition to ANC policies. But we've got no mandate to sell out. That's not our mandate. Our mandate, the DA was invited to the party in the same manner the ANC invited all other parties to the table, including the EFF and Zuma party and many other parties. Subsequent 9 other parties accepted the statement of intent and the GNU. Now we have a clearinghouse, and then the psychological warfare being waged by Zille is premised on the DA's failure to reconcile its role as a party to the GNU, which must serve all South Africans, and its desire to weaken the ANC. There's a conflict there in Zille's soul. We are part of government, of GNU. Will we survive this government? And also, on the other hand, we must build from the carcass of the ANC and become stronger. And that is the conflict that she's faced with, and that she's seeking to manage by way of dropping snippets there and there. We are not deterred by that. That's the question of GNU. It's a decision of us all. And when it comes to the African National Congress, I can tell you now that we hate GNU. The fact that I must be woken up by an opposition leader every day about this and that, I don't like it. But that's how democracy is. It humbles you. You see, you we didn't win Johannesburg. That Mashaba said he will never work with the ANC. And I said, hey, Mashaba ranks, this thing you are saying will give you palpitations. And then we're in a panel. You remember in Rosebank, I said, leave this thing that you won't work with everyone. Today we are working together in Twan with Mashaba. We are Shaba ranks. We are working there. But he vowed that no, he will never work with the ANC. And let us not distort the conceptual and ideological understanding of what is GN. GNUs and coalitions are formed by political parties not of the same political and ideological background. In their very nature, they are formed by rival political parties. If I were to choose who I want to work with and want to work with alone on ideological basis, it's nothing near to the arrangement that we have. Okay? It's nothing near to the arrangement that we have, because our allies are not even contesting for elections. They are not even in government. They are outside. Our people put us below 40%. And then they said that go and work with all South Africans. And that is why we are here today. So we are not in these things by choice. The other choice we had was the one of Grand Coalition. We have been driven towards. Even Grand Coalition, there's no ideology there. You can choose to work with Zuma and work with Malema. There's no ideology there. You work with them because you think you can achieve something out of that. Okay? You work in the GNU. The rest of the other political parties, including the ANC, are stable in the GNU. Abantu abakhabalazayo nje nguZille. And then that's it. We accept that. But we don't expect the DA to change and become ANC in the GNU. We expect them to contest because it's a contested terrain. But at the end of the day, you can't expect the ANC to just become a subservient and all of that.